Welcome back home, Becc.
Welcome home back.
How does it feel?
Feels good. Feels great.
Title.
Why is that?
It feels, I don't know if this is a metaphorical reason, but it feels good because I made a decision to try to move on and do something different. And that was a really hard decision for me. And so to come back around and I didn't know if I was going to be successful. I didn't know if I was going to do anything that made me happy. I didn't know if I was going to fail completely. Like all of that, fear was in me when I left DFW. And so to come back and for it to be a sweet introduction of that put any kind of success aside, that I'm just really happy and I'm doing something I'm passionate about, that's really cool to me.
Mama, I made it. Happy for you.
Thank you.
Moving on up.
Tell my friends in high school.
Oh.
This one's for you.
Wow.
Look at me now, bitches.
Tell them how you really feel.
Bring your therapist?
Look at me now. I'm kidding. I didn't have any friends in high school. I don't know what I'd be mad at.
Wow.
I didn't even know anyone in high school.
So first time in Dallas for Flip the Script.
Yes,
Wow,
it
the
is
inaugural.
a first. It is a first, yeah.
What's the venue we're in?
Oh, Club Dada. We're in Club Dada. So this is actually a bar that I used to
Go to with none of your friends?
bartend at. Yeah, and drink alone. And I used to work in music quite a bit. And so this is one of the bars that I work with some of the tours and then a couple of the bars down the road. So yeah, it's pretty crazy to me to be in this venue.
That's awesome.
But back to the high school people.
So it's really not Flip the Script tour, it's the revenge tour.
No, it is
the
not.
revenge tour.
No, it's not. But yeah, it's good to be home. Good to see my family, and it's really cool. My sister's kids are doing a skit, and to see their buy-in or something
they're all
is
excited.
really
They're all
cool to me. That they're just, I don't know, I almost feel like it's taking its own legs, and people are, and y'all are part of that of putting into it. And it's taking it's much more than me. It was always more than me, but it's very apparent to me now that I don't know. So having them included tonight is really cool.
That's so special. There's no place like home. And I got to tell you, it's your homecoming, but your parents and your family have made it feel like home for all of us.
Oh.
Y'all rolled out the red carpet. Y'all made our bellies, well, I can't speak for y'all. You made my belly full. And
That's a lot of work, too.
Ooh, gave us leftovers as well. DF Dub, I'm coming.
I'm coming. I'm staying. God, can we do a title, no title, for a month? I can't handle one more title. Or I'm going to title all up on y'all.
Ooh, title.
Anywho, okay, so go ahead. What were you going to say? You were going to say something that sounded like.
No, I've said I'm tapped out.
Oh.
What's that topic?
It is selling an art or a science. That is the topic.
Ooh. All right.
Who wants to start?
Larry.
I think it's both. We'll keep it real. I think it's both. I think it's part science, and you obviously go deep on the scientific part, which I love and I totally respect. For me, similar to G, I'm an artiste. Did I say that right? An artiste. I'm more of a feel kind of guy, but I think it's when you blend both the scientific, the data, the numbers, with the art and kind of the interpretation, I think you have the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So that's just my take.
Interesting. What about you?
I think it's both as well. And I think it's both for a unique reason. I think everything is both an art and a science. When you look at this photography, right? The science is understanding the aperture setting. The science is understanding the lighting settings. The science is understanding, well, not in this case, the shutter speed, but that's all the science. I mean, if you break down photography or you even break down football or anything, there's a complete science to it. I think the art comes from what the individual themselves brings to the career, brings to the effort that they themselves own, right? They bring this something special to themselves, whether it's a creativity around the questions, whether it's a creativity around how you engage with something. Like I think some of the art that Guillaume brings was his ability to really connect with people early, right? So I think it's both, but I want people to understand the art piece is not something you teach uniformly The art piece is what you as an individual look inside and say to yourself, what is unique about me that I bring to this task, or I bring to this craft that magnifies the science?
What about you?
Speechless.
No, I agree with what you've all said, but I feel like what's interesting is whenever you're talking about art, you directly link it to creativity.
Yeah.
But what I love about art is to get started as an artist, the first thing you need to do is to copy and repeat and copy again and repeat again. And you know, there was this quote that says, I think like great artists steal, like they don't copy.
Yeah.
And the reason why it was saying they steal is not because they are thieves, it's because they are making something that someone else created their own.
Yeah.
And I think like sales is very much alike with it, because it's a lot about repeating the same task over and over again as a craftsmanship so you can get better. And at the same time, it's also science, because there are definitely things that works and things that don't work. So I agree with everything you said. I just wanted to emphasize on the repetition aspect of it and building consistency.
That's interesting you bring that. I think it's mainly science.
No way.
I think there's a little bit of art. The science portion, which I don't think we go enough into as an industry, is, I mean, science simply, or art simply defined, is the expression at the sole goal of beauty. So I hope there's no art in sales, because I thought the goal was we help them, solve a problem. So it's much more aimless, and the whole intent is just to be creative, to your point. Science is more the study of something or the system of something. And when I break down, selling or see selling behaviors, the reality is, even though we think that we're individual, we're special, by and large, we're all getting about the same objections. Send me an email, running into a meeting, and I took this call because I thought you were somebody else, not the right person, no pricing, discounting. Like, there's a system there, and I feel like if most people could get beyond the, oh, this is, I just do this well, or et cetera, and really studied, like, something that stood out to me is, especially because I'm in town, and UTD, I work with Dr. Dover over there quite a bit. So he invited me out to a panel in Frankfurt earlier this summer, and I got to meet a bunch of different academics who studied sales, like consumer behavior, trends, different psychological principles. Did they work? Did they not? With 50 different citations. And my main takeaway is they said, oh, we wanted to have a couple industry speakers here, meaning like people who are out there doing it. And the industry speakers would look at the academics and say, like, they don't know anything, they don't know real life application, we don't need any of this, like, studying is just bullshit, and we we should just wing it, so to speak. They don't have any value really to offer. And the academics would look at the industry people and say the exact same thing. And so I think it's a marry of how do you study how a buyer buys, how do you discover different ways, what they're going to say whenever they're uncomfortable, what they're going to say whenever they don't want to buy, but they see you as someone who's salesy, and how can you study that and find a systematized way, like gap for better for worse, whether you like art or science, it's a system. It's, I have to find these different things in order to progress, in the sale. And so I think that there's a real discipline behind selling if you let it happen.
100%.
Meaning if you pursue it. So I think, especially in prospecting, that it's much more so as science. It could be broken down much more pragmatically if you were to take the time to do that, I think.
I'm in 100% agreement.
Yeah.
I think I don't say it falls apart. I think what we do is we conflate the concept of a system in what to do with how to do it. Because people are not that systematic, right? People respond differently. People's responses vary based on the time of day, based on what just happened to them, based on their personalities, based on their livelihoods, based on tone. So you cannot script out and replicate, if I do this every single time, this is going to happen. And if I do this, so the system is like a frame and what to do. The art is how you work within that frame. Because if not, to your point, if it was strictly a science, I mean, I'm pull a Becc here. If you understand the concept of science, it's a repeatable thing that cannot be deviated from. So the science of, I drop this, it's going to fall every single time. If I punch that wall, I need to create X amount of force in order to get through that wall. If I don't, it's not going to happen. When it comes to sales, it's not that scientific, right? I cannot have this conversation with this person and it works, and have the exact same conversation with the next person, it's going to work again. So it's a science to a degree, and I know that's eating her inside.
It is, because I see too many trends that are with too many commonality, of like what is relevance for someone, or what is like a trigger going to do to someone, or psychologically, what are different extroverts and introverts, how are they going to behave in certain environments, or attachment theory of avoidant, dismissive avoidant, like I see too many trends to think. I think the main point that I would want to drill home is there is much more of a system to all of that,
Yeah.
And I agree with you. There are a lot of it's not that everyone's going to respond in a certain way, but it's like I've noticed, for instance, like I told a certain amount of jokes in New York, and I'm like, some of these are hitting and some of them aren't. And you would say, if there is no science to this, then that wouldn't be repeatable, meaning the next city would be a completely different bag. But I've noticed in every city, they laugh at the same jokes, and they don't laugh as much at these jokes. And so I think that behaviorally, like there is I think there's much more of a, when I walk into a retail store, if someone approaches me and I say, how can I help you today? What do you say back to me?
I'm good.
I'm good.
In the hood.
And why do you say that?
Because I'm good. I don't need your help.
I don't need your help. But why? They know the store better.
I got it.
So it's like
I got this.
there are thousands of different cases just like that one. So I think that the thing I'm afraid of in sales is that we flush the baby out with the bathwater and we say like, this is all unique ad hoc case. We can't learn anything.
No, that's the system. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I got a question for you, because
Yeah.
we're talking about, is sales a science or an art?
Yeah.
How do you define sales?
Vending.
Two sentences max, because I know what his definition is, and we'll get to it. I've got a definition, but I want to know, what's your definition of sales?
I mean, it's the exchange of goods or services for money. Yeah, that's Webster's definition.
One to
The
two.
definition of sales?
The Oxford, the Webster, Merriam.
Of the sales craft
It's just sales. How do you
is the
define
ability to influence somebody. No, the ability to help somebody make a decision that's going to improve their current state.
sales? Say that one more time.
The ability to help somebody make a decision to improve their current environment.
Okay. Gee.
You know it by heart.
Give me that ladder, dog.
Ladder.
Sales is a transfer of belief across a ladder of trust.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, when I think about sales, I think it's a transfer of energy. That's just my definition. But I also think, and I don't know if I'm the only one who knows Patty Stanger, the million dollar matchmaker.
I don't know who that.
Yeah, I think we're playing matchmaker. We're matching whatever we have, a product, service, thought, or idea, with someone else's needs, wants, desires, challenges, hopes, dreams, and aspirations.
Yeah.
And I love the word that Keenan said, help. We're helping them by bridging.
We are.
Yeah.
Anything to add, G? All said. So this was Green Room Candor. Episode 5 is selling an art or a science, and we all say it's a science. Thanks for coming in.